Okay, this video is still section 9.1, and this one is video number 4. So in the last video, and we're still on page 3 here. So in the last video, we dealt with special right triangles. We're still dealing with special right triangles, but we're doing 30, 60, 90 triangles this time. Now notice again, 30 plus 60 plus 90 adds to 180. All the angles in a triangle must add to 180. And we have that unique relationship again for 30, 60, 90 triangles, just like we had for 45, 45, 90 triangles. This one's a little bit not quite as nice as the 45, 45, but still makes it easier to find missing side lengths. So the first thing you want to notice is we have our 90 degree here. And then we have a 30 degree and a 60 degree. So 30 degrees is less than 60. So the side opposite the 30 is going to be our short side. And the side opposite the 60 is going to be our long side. And our hypotenuse is right here. And that we're going to call 2x. So the relationship here is the short side is x, the hypotenuse is 2 times x, and the long leg is x times the square root of 3. Okay, so turn the examples for this, start on page 4. So I want you to turn to page 4. And if you go to the bottom where it says example 2, those are your 30, 60, 90 examples. Now, what I want you to do before we start this is let's put that diagram that we just had on the first page over here where we need it while we're solving these problems. So this was our 30 degree. So the short, and this is our 90. The short side is x, the long side is x times the square root of 3, and the hypotenuse is 2x. So we're going to use these relationships to find missing sides. We're going to do the same thing we did before where we're going to use n instead of x while we're solving these. So in this first example, we have to find the length of both of these sides. This is the short side, so we're going to label that n. The hypotenuse, we're going to label 2n. So short side, x. Hypotenuse 2x, so we're going to use our n and our 2n. And the long side we're going to label n square root of 3. Now what you want to look for is where did they give you a number? They gave me a number right here. So right from the get-go I know n is 15. Now let's solve for y next, because that's like the next nicest, cleanest one I want to call it. So I'm going to say y equals 2 times n. N is 15. So I'm going to replace or substitute 15 in for n. Wrap it up in parentheses so you know it's multiplication. So y equals 2 times 15, which is 30. Okay, so we already found y. Now we need to find x. So here's our relationship. Let's write an equation. X equals n times the square root of 3. N is 15. So when things are important, I like to do this, give them a squiggly underline. They're not my answer. My answers I put in boxes, but this is important because I'm going to use it in both parts of these equations. So draw some attention to it so you can find it. So in here, I want to substitute 15 for n. So what I have is 15 times the square root of 3. I don't really need the parentheses on this one. So I'm just going to write it like that. So I found x and I found y. Make sense? All right, let's try another one. So 30, 60, 90. Here's my 90 degrees. This looks like the short side, so I'm going to call that n. This looks like the long leg, if you want to think about it like that. So I'm going to call that n square root of 3. And here's my hypotenuse, and that is 2n. So I'm just going to flip back here just to show you. I'm just doing these same relationships. Short side is x. Hypotenuse is 2 times x. So whatever my short side is, my hypotenuse is 2 times the short side. So shorter leg times 2. And the longer leg is shorter leg times the square root of 3. So in this example, my short leg is n, my hypotenuse is 2 times n, and my long leg is n times the square root of 3. Okay, where is a number that they gave me? Looks like right here, because this is a number. So I'm going to write my equation here. So 4 square root of 3 equals n square root of 3. Now I'm solving for n. N is multiplied by square root of 3, so to undo multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides by the square root of 3. So square root of 3 divided by square root of 3 is 1. Those 1 out, so I'm left with 1n. And then when I look over here, square root of 3 divided by square root of 3 is 1 again. So what I have is 4 times 1, which is just 4. So n is 4. That's important, but it's not what I'm finding. What I have to find is y and x. Well, I'm noticing right here that x equals n. If I write an equation for these two, x equals n is 4, so x equals 4. So I found x. Now I just need to find y. So write an equation that looks like these two set equal. Y equals 2n. So y equals, we know what n is. We gave it our squiggly underline right here. Y equals 2 times, wrap up that n, substitute the 4 in place of n, because n is 4, and then simplify. 2 times 4 is 8. So they asked for x and y, and I found x and y. Okay, let's go on. I'm going to put that little reminder up here. It's going to be small. So this is x, 2x, x square root of 3. Short side, hypotenuse, long side. Ooh, you guys could not see that. Sorry about that. There you go. Okay, 30, 60, 90, 90 and 60. So here's my 90 degree. So this looks like my short side. So I'm going to call that n. My long side, I'm going to call n square root of 3. And my hypotenuse, I'm going to call 2n. So they gave me the hypotenuse. So I'm going to write this equation, 2n equals 22. To solve for n, I want to undo multiplication. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 2 and 2, 1 out. I'm left with n equals 22 divided by 2 is 11. So n is important, but it's not what the question asked for. I'm not done yet. It asked for x and y. Well, right away up here I notice, hey, y equals n. I know n is 11, so y equals 11. So boom, there we go. We know y. Now we just need to find x. So write this equation, x equals 9 square root of 3. We know n. N is 11. So x equals, instead of n times the square root of 3, 11 times the square root of 3. So boom, x and y. That wasn't too bad. Okay, let me erase that. 30, 60, 90, find the short side, call it n. Find the long side, call it n times the square root of 3. I should say short leg and long leg. Hypotenuse, call it 2n. Again, the hypotenuse is the number they gave me, so let's write an equation that says 2n equals 16. Divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2, those 1 out, and I get n equals 8. Give it a squiggly underline. It's important, but we're not done. We have to find x and y. Right away I notice y equals n, and n equals 8, so y equals 8. Nice. One more. Got to solve for x. X equals n over the square root of 3. Hey, I know n. N is 8. So x equals 8 times the square root of 3. Again, I'm done. I found x and y. I'm going to have you guys, let me erase this. I'm going to have you guys